Yeah, the first thing we're doing right here is getting rid of some of the existing flooring, mainly the hard surfaces. We call hard surfaces like laminate, hardwood, even tile, anything that's hard, that's not carpet really, even vinyl. We call those hard surfaces. That's basically what we did in this beginning part. Um, the, and then we'll get onto the carpet. Okay, so we took up the hard surfaces. Now we're doing what we call the soft surface, which is the carpet. So what we try to do is move the furniture to one side of the room. And you can see that line that was in the middle of that floor. That was they had a like a walkway, like a runner going through the carpet. That lighter color was the original color of the carpet. The carpet was really dirty. As far as the customer's house, so it was very clean. But as you've seen, as we're doing this, we're taking up the tack strips. We're rolled up the carpet. We taped it up and took it out, and we're starting to get rid of the tack strips. Some of the carpet pad is actually around the edges, around the edges is actually glued down. So there's a little scraper that we're scraping it as we're going to just to disconnect it from the adhesive. Then we're rolling it up with the carpet tacks in it, getting all that out of there, and yeah, so getting this carpet out, we're only doing it up until where where the couch is. Once we get some of the floor up to where the couch is, then we'll move the couch and then do the rest of the carpet. That is all part of just trying to be as efficient as we can while we're doing the floor. So you see, we're moving a dining room table. Chairs are already moved into the kitchen. Getting all that carpet out of there, so we can get ready to really get some floors put in here. Yeah, so now we got the getting all the carpet out of the dining room. It's almost completely out. Um, that's just doing our sweeping to get all the dirt up right there. And after we do all that, then we'll start doing the other little minor prep stuff like door jamb cutting and stuff like that. That'll be next. Okay, so we're using this undercut saw. It's the Crane 575 model. What I'm doing is I'm making sure that the floor that I have adjusted for the height of the new material that we're putting down. So it was actually already at the correct height, so I didn't have to do any adjustments. And basically, um, what I do is we cut around the casing. The casing is the first part I'm about to cut right now. And then on both sides, that's the casing that goes around the outside of the door. And the jamb of the door is actually on the inside, and I'm gonna cut that as well. And what we're trying to accomplish is we're trying to make sure that the material it goes underneath it. There's no spaces or anything. There's nothing like because we're gonna put quarter round around where the baseboard is, but around the casing, there's nothing gonna be there. So the floor needs to go underneath it, and so we have to cut it to the right height. If you notice the front door by the steps, um, those areas were already cut because they had the hard surfaces there before, and they are actually a little bit higher than the material that we're doing, but that's okay. In this particular case, I don't have to. I'm not going to have to cut none of those doors up there, those doorways. Um, so yeah, so we cut that, and of course we're making a little bit of dust. We'll clean that up, and then we'll get ready to start laying the plastic moisture barrier. Whenever you do laminate floor and concrete, you need to do a moisture barrier, a plastic moisture barrier underneath it. So that's what you'll be seeing next. Yeah, and that plastic moisture barrier, we use a 4 mil as far as the thickness of it. And what it does is it prevents the what happens is moisture evaporates off of concrete because it's stuck to the soil, and it can have condensation, and that condensation is not good for laminate. So that plastic barrier prevents that condensation from damaging or causing any problems with your laminate floor. Yeah, without the moisture barrier, you can have condensation form between the concrete and the laminate floor, and it can cause buckling, it can cause cupping, crowning, It can have mildew, mold can start forming on the laminate, and the laminate can start separating. You can have all kind of issues depending on how how much moisture the concrete's sucking up out of the ground. And so um, this moisture barrier prevents that from damaging the laminate floor, and that's why it's a must. If you always want to have some kind of, you either have this plastic or you can even seal the concrete with a pretty thick sealer that'll prevent that from happening. So we definitely do that. Now we're putting some material there so we can get ready to get started, so it'll be closer to our where we're working at. Okay, yeah, so we're starting to install. We always like starting from the your entryways, because that's when you first walk in your house. I mean, no house is I want to say straight, and the walls are like perfectly square. And so what we like to do is we start from the front of the house, or from your entryways, preferably your front door, because when you walk in your house, you want your floor to look straight, at least when you're walking into your house. And so we always try to start from your front door. Um, and so I cut a couple of the starter ones, and we're using the Bessie spacers, those little black things with the little red things in the middle of them. Them are the spacers. We use them to get our spacing. Laminate cannot be pushed up against walls or anything like that, because what laminate does, it contracts and expands during different humidity part times of the season, temperatures or whatever. So you have to give it some spacing so it can contract and expand, so it doesn't bow out and like cause you problems. So we're doing teamwork here. We're installing this foyer pretty quickly, and I'm going out to cut the material to get around that first. Let's call it our first obstacle. Putting the spacers there. Odessa's marking it. Then I'll go and cut it. Now you see we're going pretty quick with this. Doesn't take long at all. Well, right here, I'm getting ready to do around that first casing around this closet, and so this is what I call the money cuts, because the faster you can do this without making as many cuts and corrections, um, the basically you become more efficient, and these are the things that slow you down when you're actually doing jobs. And so, but yeah, I cut it, I trimmed the piece, make sure it goes under there, make sure there's no gaps or anything. Put a spacer on that backside. Now I'm gonna cut that one other piece, and it actually has to be trimmed, and a little piece has to be trimmed off of it. So I just kind of eyeballed it and took it outside the cut. And we'll bring it back in here, and we installed it. So now we're you see Odessa, she's just doing the filler part, the basically allow the floor, because I'm doing these special cuts and she's doing most of the actual square footage. And she can actually do a lot of the special cuts too. She knows how to cut around the casings and all that stuff. I've been doing it a little longer, so you know how that goes. But she's really good. Like um, my wife can do over 500 square feet in a day by herself, doing it the way that I kind of showed her how to do, and it's just being more efficient, um, being thoughtful, and being clean. All that stuff matters. Otherwise, I wouldn't do this. But if I couldn't do it at this speed. And see, I'm about to do this other side, other door facing. I was actually using my pencil as a ruler on that. I'm gonna cut it outside. Laminate is very, very dusty, so we never cut, no matter what the weather's like outside. We never cut in anybody's home. And we do have the laminate cutter that Odessa has on the other side of the room. She uses that. That's like a guillotine. It like snaps it, it cuts it and snaps it, and so you don't have any dust like doing with a miter saw or anything like that. So we do a little bit of our cuts outside, but we mostly do our cuts inside as far as the meaty part of the job. There it is. And you always hope that you get it the first time. Let's see if I got it right. And yep, I did. And here's another, we'll call these obstacles. Anytime you have to cut little rip pieces off, consider this an obstacle. And this is a technique I use right here. Piece. And I'm going to cut that piece and bring it in, and look at that. And I feel like it's too close to the wall, so I'm going to cut a little bit more out because we like to have that space. So I just basically wasted 2 minutes of my time because I didn't cut it right the first time. So that piece right there was a piece that we already had cut, and so I was able to use it, and it wasn't, instead of having it as waste, instead of cut a little piece off, put it in there. Look at that, another mistake. So I have to go and cut it again. So I'm cutting this piece 2 times, and I really don't like cutting stuff twice. But even the best of us, nobody's perfect on floors. You do your best. Let's see if I can get this one right. We are doing this during COVID. You can see my mask on the door, on that closet door. And so what we do is we tell our customers that if they need to talk to us or if we need to talk to them, one, let us know when they're coming in our area so we can put our masks on, and just we're trying to keep that still keep that 6 feet distance as well. But it's kind of, when you're working, it's a kind of physical, not all that physical, but it's kind of physical. So you need to get all your oxygen when you're doing this job. So a lot of times we do take our masks off while we're working, and we just hope that our customers do listen to us as far as taking that into account, that we need to have that kind of discipline with this, dealing with this COVID situation. So Odessa saw sometimes they have defects on the material, and Odessa noticed a defect while you're going. You don't want to have to do the floor, and then the customer noticed a defect in it, and you have to take the floor up and get to that piece out and put it back. But she actually noticed one and put it to the side. We'll still be able to use that piece, but we'll cut that defect part off. And I'm cutting another part that we call that like an obstacle, because we've got to do a cut around this wall right here. And pretty simple, got it right in there. See how I got the space, it's not touching the baseboard. So we'll go on to some more part of the floor. That's really doing what she does. She does it really good. And I can't believe my wife is doing this. We're both the same age, almost in our 50s. She's actually a chef, but she likes doing floors, and I like eating. So, but you know, it's my wife, so she won out on that one. There she go. See, she did a lot of the floor herself. Basically, I just helped with the foyer. She helped me with the foyer. Um, she basically did the whole complete dining room, as you can see, by herself. And I'm doing like what I call the money cuts and stuff, like to get us to keep moving. And that's all the kind of teamwork we do. Like I said, she could do all the stuff that I've done. She can do those same things. And I'm into the family room / living room, whatever you want to call it. I'm almost done in this area, and then we'll move that furniture. And you see that little bit of carpet up there. There's also a sliding door up there that we have to cut with the door jamb cutter, and then that'll be a wrap for that area up there. Cool, right? Cool. Okay, so we're gonna do a couple pieces of the quarter round. We're doing that real quick. Normally, actually, Odessa does almost all the quarter round. I do very little of the quarter round. She's pretty good at quarter round. I'm talking about really good, not pretty good, but great at quarter round. She's doing it, nailing it. And then we're gonna kind of clean that area up a little bit, and move the furniture over. Yeah. And we've been working together for about almost 10 years now, and so a lot of stuff that we do, we're not even we just know what we need to do next. So it's not a lot of talk. I mean, as far as like you need to do this, you do this, do that. We kind of know what needs to be done, and we just get it done. Taking the rest of that carpet out that I was telling you about. It's glued down around this. Was fortunate on this living room, like the fireplace, that piece of slate, that black slate piece. Sometimes the marble, but in this particular case, it's slate. It's high enough that the actual laminate floor can actually be. I can cut it and go underneath it, so we don't have to put a mold in there. Because the thing about laminate, the laminate moldings aren't really, to me, not attractive. And anytime you can do it without using a molding or transition piece. It looks better. And so yeah, so this customer was actually fortunate, was able to actually go underneath. I'm gonna have to trim some of the underlayment that's underneath that slate, and then we'll go underneath it. What I'm doing now is I am getting the transition piece that's gonna go between the living room and the kitchen, the length of it. I'm cutting it, making sure I get the length. I'm actually establishing where it's gonna go. So then when we start laying the floor, we know where we're stopping the floor at. And of course, I'm moving some of the Odessa actually is moving some of the floor and material out there so we can get ready. So yeah, so we get that transition piece ready to go, and then we start laying the floor again. And what's going to happen is when we get to that, when we get up there by that fireplace, I'll end up taking over on the right side, and Odessa end up coming to the left side. Now she could do it, but it's just I've been doing it for longer, so I can do it a little quicker. And we're just trying to get out of this house. Pretty much this job we um, got done with this house, and I think we was out of here by 1 o'clock. So we usually get on the job site at 8. We like to start early. I mean, if we could, we'd start earlier than that. But we started at around 8, and like this is about 550 square feet, and I believe we got out of here almost 1 o'clock. And that's after we cleaned everything and made sure the customer was satisfied. See, I always let her try a little one first, see if she even wants to do it. She's looking at me like, yeah, I ain't trying to do this. I don't want to do this right now. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm not saying anything, but I know. Yeah, she doesn't really want to do it. Let me get in here, lady. We're kind of going over different methods of doing it. So if I'm not on the job site with her and she's with somebody else and she's leading the job, she knows what she needs to tell them and what she needs to do. That's going on right there. And I'm going to speed this video up. And yeah, so I'm doing this, like I said, this angles happen to be 45-degree angles. We do have another one of those same type of machines there, the guillotine, that can actually cut the angle for this wide plank, but I was being lazy. I didn't want to go and get it. So I just actually was just cutting a couple at a time. And because it wasn't really a lot, it takes you do a couple and you're almost done. Kind of knock it under. We're almost done. Almost done with the flooring part. Then we still have to do the molding, move the furniture back, etc., etc. See, I'm trimming some of the padding underneath the slate. And at this point, she's letting me finish up. She's going to go ahead and start the quarter round. So hopefully by the time I'm finished, she'll be quarter round and be all done. Look, somebody's taking a phone break. And as you see, she has a DeWalt brand nailer. It's cordless nail gun. That's hers. I have to ask to touch it really. That's her tape measure. I have my own. She doesn't let me touch it. Well, kind of knocking the dust off the floor. And it's pretty easily clean up because it's laminate. Putting the furniture back. I have sliders under the furniture. Can't really see it, but they're under there. And yeah, so the floor is done. It's just a matter of cleaning up and getting out of there. Yep. The last transition piece by the powder room, putting that in, and that's it. Okay, now you've seen all of our DeWalt stuff that we have. DeWalt sees this, they should know they should probably sponsor us. This is James Odessa Flooring LLC. We like using DeWalt stuff. It's very durable. They cost a little bit, but it's very durable. It lasts. We're professionals, so having the best equipment at all times, makes our job easier, and I mean, it just makes the job a lot easier by having the better stuff. And I feel like most of the loft tools are the best stuff. So here we're cleaning up, getting everything out of there. We blow up, we sweep, and then we blow off any dust that we have outside the house. Of course, we take everything with us, all the trash. Everything goes. And you know what? It's a wrap. It's a wrap. We did it again. Bye.